the welfare state. Both it affects us here, affects, when the illegal aliens come over, as well as the welfare state in Mexico. So many of these problems could be solved very easily with sound economic policies.
Thank you. Again, we have an overflow crowd here in the studio, so, sir, go ahead, please.
Dr. Paul, my question is about the consolidation of the mass media in this country, how 5 companies pretty much own all of our information and what we could hear. And my question is, what do you think about the mass media situation? And
Can't hear you. I need it louder. Put the mic up a little
basically, the media in our country is controlled by 5 companies, and they're not telling us everything that's going on. It's very controlled. I was just wondering what you thought about that, like being, you're not allowed at the debates tonight. And
okay.
What do you think, if you become president, what can you do to make sure that the media gets divided?
Okay.
Thank you.
He asked about what would I do as president to alter the conditions that we have. He indicated about 5 strong media companies have so much control, and what would we do to get something more fair and balanced? Since I'm not supportive of using force to get my way, well, I'd be very careful on what I would do. But the strength of these media companies doesn't come automatically from free market capitalism. Everything in radio and television has been licenses, granted, and there's a lot of conditions. So long term, we shouldn't have that condition. But fortunately, we have some competition. There are alternative sources that we can compete with. We happen to have this forum, which is competitive with those others who are less fair and balanced. And this is also, today we have more competition. We have a political equalizer in the use of the Internet. I mean, right now, the Internet is fantastic in getting information out. So I'm much more interested in using alternatives and maximizing it and make sure there are no government regulations that will suppress it. My concern is that there'll be a threat the federal government is going to want to come in and regulate the Internet as well and have some type of licensing program that will, limit the scope and the ability for every individual to make use of the Internet. But one thing that should be done and looked at, but it would be a big task, is getting away from this licensing procedure and back to a private property ownership. But you still would have the threat of that. But ultimately, the media is a reflection of an attitude of the country. Let's say that, for instance, most people who talk about economics superficially on the media talk from a Keynesian viewpoint. They don't talk from an Austrian free market viewpoint. So you don't mandate things to say you can't talk about this type of economics, you have to talk about this. What you have to do, that's an educational process. And that's where I'm optimistic about what's happening in the country. Though we have a lot of problems in Washington, this country is waking up to economics. Just think of how interested the people are now just during this campaign, how they're interested in monetary policy. So it's competition in ideas so that we can raise up a new generation of individuals who will be running for Congress, new people that will be in radio and television and journalism. And then those views, I don't see the 5 majors as threatening as it might seem at times. I don't see them as much threat that they have total control. I think ideas are much more important, and that's why we have to work not only in the area of politics, but we also have to work in the area of raising our young people up to understand why free market principles are the only way we can take care of people. If we care about our fellow man and we care about poverty, we care about education and medical care, then we have to approach this through the ideas of what we hold dear, and we can solve most of those problems.
We have just about 2 minutes left. Another subject related to the previous question is the subject of campaign finance reform. Would you comment on that, please?
Okay. Campaign finance reform is something we should move very cautiously with, because if you want to control how people spend their money or how they lobby Congress, you might restrict somebody's civil rights or constitutional rights, because the Constitution is very clear that people have the right to petition the government. So when you see the abuse in Washington of the special interests and the controls that they have, you say, boy, let's keep them out. They shouldn't be able to lobby. They can't do this or that. That really isn't a solution. The ultimate solution is never having a system of government that is so big that they have so much control over our lives and so much power, and they control our money. No wonder the special interests go there, because they want to either get their money back or control the government. Now, there's one proposal that I made recently that is worth thinking about, and that is if the special interests have so much control of the federal government, and we don't want to ever abuse your right to petition the government, what about the big companies? What about the military-industrial complex, these medical companies, the drug companies that come spend millions and millions of dollars lobbying? Shouldn't we restrain them? And I'm thinking that one way we might be able to restrain them, whether it's in their lobbying efforts or the way they campaign, and that is to make them, if they take a contract from the government, they no longer can lobby and push the Congress around because they're making money off of the government. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight, Dr. Paul. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen in the audience, thank you, as well as our viewers. For more information about the campaign and to join the campaign, ronpaul2008.com, or you can call the toll-free number on the screen. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you. Kent, you did great.
Thank you. Thank you.
You did very well.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.